This past summer, I did a video talking about 10 elite citrus fragrances that are perfect for summer. So I wanted to do a follow-up video talking about elite spicy fragrances for the fall. Very simple topic, but not basic because I have some special fragrance selections to share with you, and all of them will be available at Max Aroma, who we talk about every single month, and we've been doing that for a few years now. So if you're new to that, then welcome. Now it's not new anymore. Let's keep it going. Max Aroma is one of the best places online to find a lot of the fragrances you're probably already searching for. And one of the things I think they do really well, I talk about this in every video that I mention them in, is that they offer a chance for you to sample just about every fragrance they carry. They have these little faux leather 5 milliliter travel sprays, and they're not necessarily cheap, but they are definitely less expensive than blind buying a full bottle. So all these fragrances, as far as I know, will be available to sample at Max Aroma if you are one who likes to take your time and not jump right into a full bottle purchase. So how about we dive into these spicy fall fragrances? Raving about this fragrance for several years now. It was a favorite discovery of mine when I first tried it, and I still really enjoy it. I can still highly recommend it. If you like just about every spice known to man in a fragrance, then you'll probably like Labyrinth of Spices from Alghabra. It is intended to artistically represent walking through a spice bazaar or a spice market in Istanbul, which I've never done before, but I get the vibe. It has, again, so many spices: cardamom, nutmeg, cloves, and more than that as well, in addition to some coffee, maybe some tobacco. It's earthy, dry, very spicy, woody, sweet and warm, powerful, but not overwhelming. It wears very elegantly. Love this stuff on a chilly day, and especially a chilly night if you want to kind of make a statement in a cozy, elegant way. Definitely consider Labyrinth of Spices, and let me know if you already are a fan of this one. I feel like I've talked about this fragrance recently in a past video. This is a fantastic consideration from Amouage. If you like spicy, if you like powerful, if you like elegant, Boundless. I don't think many people talk about Boundless these days, but basically if you like a fragrance like Tobacco Vanille from Tom Ford, it doesn't smell exactly like that, but that's probably the best point of reference I can give you so you can frame your mind around what this might smell like. Spicy ginger, there's definitely vanilla, there's blood orange, it's zingy, warm, spicy, woody, almost embering in its warmth, and has a nice bit of slightly ambery sweetness that is not really in the forefront here. It's more in the background with that vanilla as well, that again adds a bit of a sweeter appeal to it in the air, makes it very attractive smelling. But the overall profile, the overall personality here is a little bit more on the rough side, very textural in its spiciness. And I would say that what separates Boundless from something like Tobacco Vanille is the resinous quality. Amouage is known for their resins, and myrrh resin is really the main player here. Adds this kind of damp balsamic sweetness in the background that does come out more and more as it dries. And overall, it's just kind of its own thing. But I just wanted to give you a starting point. Let me know if you like Boundless. It's great for the fall if you like spicy. I'm gonna spray this one in the air because honestly, I haven't worn it since last fall. That's nice stuff. If you like a warm, spicy, sweet, woody fragrance from a designer house that I think has a little bit of interest to it, then check out Bvlgari Man in Black. Very warm, spicy, definitely woody and dry. It draws its sweetness from some benzoin, which is kind of a vanillic like resin, but this is primarily a spicy fragrance, but it is a simple one. There's not a whole lot going on here. And I find that it's not the strongest fragrance, even though it is a parfum that does not dictate the strength. It does dictate the behavior of this scent. So it wears a little heavier, it wears closer to the skin, it leaves a slower lingering trail, but it doesn't last a super long time. I honestly don't really detect this much after about 6 hours or so, but honestly it's fine because the type of scenarios that I think you might wear a scent profile like this to wouldn't last any longer than that. In fact, they'll likely be shorter than that. This is definitely evening focused, a little bit more dressed up, but not necessarily as formal as something like Boundless, so to speak. So it's very functional. It's chill, but well composed in its simplicity. Let me know if you're a fan of this one. That's Bvlgari Man in Black Parfum. Now, just because we're talking about spicy doesn't mean we're only talking about dark, sweet, earthy, warm. No, it's the fall time, which is also a perfect time to wear your fougères, the aromatic fougère, especially on those slightly warmer days in the fall, and especially during the daytime. is a perfect consideration if you want something that's sophisticated, relatively clean smelling, gentlemanly, and definitely a bit spicy depending on which one you choose. And I'm choosing Viking from Creed. Viking is a wonderful, elegant, spicy aromatic fougere. It primarily draws its spice from pink pepper, kind of a fiery spiciness. And I think it comes off that way because it's blended with some mint. So it gives it this almost cooling, mentholic type of fiery spiciness. Blended with some clean lavender, some citruses, it dries down woody with some patchouli and vetiver and just kind of all the classic elements, but it does come off as a very particular personality that may not be everyone's bag. Some people compare this to something like Old Spice. I see where they're coming from, but this is a refinement. This is an evolution on a scent profile like this. It is a beautifully executed aromatic fougere with a spicy face and one that I think works perfectly when you want to just have a sophisticated vibe, when you want people to treat you seriously, you want to have a little bit more of a grown quality to you. Try Viking. It's been out for like almost a decade at this point. The people who love it really love it, I think for a good reason. I'm one of those people. Let me know if you are too. That's Viking. Let's get into a very complex fragrance here. Honestly, when I first saw the note breakdown for this, I was judging it. I was pretty judgy with this one because I'm like, man, why are there so many notes in this fragrance? What could this possibly smell like? And how could it possibly smell like something definitive, something with an actual personality when you just cram like 40 plus notes into it? And thankfully, it did not live up to what I expected. It is something a little bit special. Now you do have to like sweet. It is quite sweet, but also has a good bit of warm spice to it. This is from Spirit of Dubai, and they call this Majalis. Now these bottles are beautiful. I have to give it to them. They're very attractive. They're very elegant feeling. They feel high quality. They feel expensive because they are expensive fragrances. If you do care about presentation, you get what you pay for. The scent is very regal. It's very kind of majestic smelling, but I couldn't possibly really break it down for you because there's so much going on in here, but I'll try my best. I primarily get this almost honeyed date that is very warm, spicy, that dries more spicy and maybe woody and just gets a little bit more dry as it dries down on the skin. But beyond that, it's hard for me to really break down what's happening. There's a lot going on playing together. Just about any note or any type of note is in here. You have florals, you have spices, you have fruits, you have woods. It's all here. And it comes together again as something surprisingly special. And also, you might expect this to be a total beast. I am so glad it's not. I think if it was, I would not be talking about this fragrance in this video because super sweet and super strong, that's a recipe for disaster if you're asking me. But it's kind of subtle, sits close on the skin, and that's fine. I wouldn't want a fragrance like this to be any stronger because then it's obnoxious. So I think it's well crafted. Now, some people might complain and say, well, if it's not all that powerful, but it's that expensive, it's not worth it. And honestly, I'm not going to contend with you. I just say skip it. Don't worry about it. But if you do like quality, if you do like easy to wear complexity and you don't mind spending more money for that, this is one to consider. But again, get a sample first. Check it out if you haven't, but I would love to know what you think of Majalis if you've tried it. Let me know down in the comments. We've got a favorite. We've got a beloved one. This is, I think, one of the best that Dior has put out in the last few years. It is, I believe, the pinnacle of the Sauvage line. That probably gives it away. This is Sauvage Elixir. Not everyone's cup of tea because they took it in a very specific direction. It is fairly related to the original DNA. You can tell that that's where it comes from. Spicy, relatively clean, woody. But there's more going on here. It's a little bit more interesting. And again, a little bit more definitive. Warm spices. I get this almost ambery, resinous, oily-ish feeling in there. It just kind of fills it out, makes it feel very dense. But it does have a bit of a clean quality as well. I would call it dark fresh. It's not cooling, fresh out the shower, warm day kind of freshness. No, this is like nighttime, dark, clean, woody, spicy, rich, but not too sweet, not too leathery, not any of these darker elements in the fall that you normally think of at the forefront. But if you overspray this stuff, which is easy to do because 2 sprays is probably enough, I don't think people are going to like you very much. So keep that in mind. Sauvage Elixir, I think it's a wonderful evening forward, gentlemanly, sophisticated / seductive scent to wear for the fall time, especially when it's chilly. And our final pick is from Xerjoff. This is a lovely one because it does have a definitive face to it. It smells like they were really going for something specific, and it's a spicy forward fragrance. That's why it's in this video. This is called Ivory Root. This is just kind of a blend of spices. I believe the primary spice here is allspice, so it's kind of cinnamon-like, but with a little bit more going on in here. And I think the sandalwood is the primary woodiness. That's a smoother, borderline creamy, but still kind of dry, dusty type of woodiness. Marginally sweet, not too sweet. I'd say mostly spicy than sweet. It's kind of an easier fragrance to wear. It doesn't come off too elegant to me. I could see this being a little bit more casual, even daytime if you will. But I think if you do dress it up in the evening, it really will shine. So if you like spice and you want Xerjoff, then Ivory Root I think is a good one to consider, as well as any of these fragrances I talked about. I want to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments. And once again, you can try them at Max Aroma. Link below.